Welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Intimacy Podcast. I first have to start out by apologizing because last week I said on the podcast that this next week would be talking about the men or something, right?
We're gonna do the other side, yeah.
We're going to do the other side. I didn't intentionally lie, but I'm telling you right now, I lied to you. Because we are going to do another podcast episode today, and so we'll bump that one to next week. So yeah, no hate mail. Don't get too fired up. We are going to do it. We just um, found one that we wanted to insert this week and have a good discussion about it. So
Nick found.
Nick found.
Nick must have some
Well,
really good ideas to share today.
anyways, we'll
Actually,
go along.
actually, okay.
I don't have my contacts in, so I'm gonna have Amy
Do
read
you even want
these.
contacts?
I do have contacts. I just don't wear them, which I don't have them in, which I haven't had them in for
24 years of our marriage.
I had to
So
pass that driver's test. So if you see me on the road, don't panic. No, I'm a great driver. I think Teslas can just drive you around. You don't even need to drive anymore. So technically, I don't need a C. I don't
maybe
even
you need to get a
need any
self-driving
eyesight.
Tesla.
So, anyways, enough about us. Let's focus on you with the Ultimate Intimacy Podcast and how we can help your marriage. So, this is the 11 golden rules of marriage. And as Amy and I read this, we both are like, "Oh, this is like great stuff." I think sometimes we're close to like episode 500 already, which means we've talked about a lot of stuff.
Holy cow.
And
We're talkers.
I think often we get overwhelmed and feel like, oh my heck, there's so many things I need to do. If I forget about this, if I forget about this. As I read these golden rules, I felt like, oh, this really encompasses everything, and it's such great advice for married couples. And I think if you really just followed these 11 things, you're gonna probably have a fantastic marriage. And again, just to reiterate, we're talking to couples that already have a decent or good marriage that treat each other right. And I think that's the key is, you're not in a marriage where there's verbal and physical abuse going on. I mean, when you're in a marriage like that, none of these other things we're talking about really matter, right? I mean they do, but they don't, right? If you can't say, "Hey, do these things," and we get so many people messaging us saying, "You told me to have more sex with my husband, and he's an abusive guy, and this and that," and we're talking to the people that are healthy couples. So,
Yes. Yes.
okay, all right. Well,
I just feel like you're in a talkative mood, so I'm gonna let you talk.
oh, it's just
And you prepared this and you know what you're gonna
it's just
say.
flowing out of me like a fountain of water. Hopefully it doesn't dry up. So,
All
no, I'm
right.
just joking. So, Amy, you want to read these off? Because I have to let you get some
So if we
wording.
keep looking over, Nick has them on the screen. I usually like to have them in my hand, but
Yep, totally dropped the ball.
drop the ball. Don't vent to outsiders, fix it inside your marriage.
Okay, I think this is great advice. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I love how you get to prepare and then you're just like, this is what we're doing today. And I'm like, okay.
No, I got a
Um,
lot to say. I want to get your thoughts though. Like
maybe you should
people
go
listen to this
first.
podcast for Amy. I'm just
No,
like
that's
kind of
not true.
a
That's not true.
extra fill in that they have to put up with. So,
I think if you go whine about your marriage to other people, that's just going to hurt your marriage. Why, if you have issues, would you not take it to your spouse? And if you are the kind of spouse that's like, my spouse won't listen, or I have tried, that's a different story. But did you take it to your spouse? Did you take your issues? Did you take your problem? Did you take your circumstance to your spouse first? I think that would help a lot of issues. Instead of going out with your guy friends and complaining, oh, my wife never wants it, or women going out, my husband just sucks. He doesn't give me the emotional connection I need, blah, blah, blah. Like that happens a lot to the extreme. Not that you can't ever say anything to friends, but I think that the point is if you want a happy marriage, most relationships things should stay in the relationship. And I think that you'll see a big change in your marriage when you could take your issues, your problems, everything you want to communicate about, keep it in the relationship. I think
what
that changes everything.
Yeah, I agree with everything you've said, and I think people lose a lot of trust with their spouse when they find out, like, oh, you're going and sharing this with your friends. However, I think that's kind of the natural thing that people want to do, right? I can't sit here and say I've never shared anything with my friends, or Amy would probably say the same thing, but I think it's a natural thing to want to do because then you're going to go to your friends and what are they going to do? They're going to validate how you're what you're saying or how you're feeling.
Oh, I'm so sorry, such a jerk to you, like crap like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or my spouse is like that too, and then it makes
Mhm.
you somehow feel better. But that it can be very destructive. Obviously, it'll make you lose trust within the marriage. We're not saying that you can't go out and get people's feedback, but I think the important thing is just make sure that both of you are on the same page with that. Like, I could ask Amy and say, "Hey, I want to share my thoughts or what's going on with someone. How do you feel about that, right? Or
Right.
are we going to go to a counselor maybe together and talk to them together? I think it's just important to make sure you're both on the same page with that
Absolutely.
instead of doing it kind of in secrecy, so to speak. And so, but again, I
Absolutely.
think it is naturally we want to go do that, and a lot of us do fall into that
I
sometimes.
think we
But
need to remember that if you want your spouse to be a good, like if you want to fix this issue and you want your spouse to come to you with your problems, you have to be a good listener. Like if Nick was not good at listening at what I had to say, yeah, I'm probably going to go talk to someone else. Like that takes two people
what did you
caring and listening.
what did you just say?
Huh?
I wasn't listening. Can you repeat that?
You're being
No, I'm
funny.
joking. I'm joking.
I'm like, I don't know when you're being funny and when you're
I'm
not.
teasing. I okay. Amy's like, settle down, settle
Stop.
down.
I live with them, so it's funny to me.
Yeah.
I was
Anyways,
like, are you serious right now? I don't know what
no.
you're saying.
Anyways, yeah. Well, so
I love you. You're so funny. You're so funny. Next one is if they feel alone with you, if they feel alone with you, your marriage is already broken. Um, I've heard a lot of if you feel lonely in your marriage, like that's like the worst place to be. And I agree with that. Like no one wants to feel lonely, disconnected, rejected in their relationship. So yeah, yeah. Your marriage is broken if you're already feeling lonely. So if you are feeling lonely, there's plenty of ways to bring that back, but it takes two sides.
yeah, there is, and that's what we want to give in this podcast is hope that we've been in a place like that, right? And I think a lot of marriages, like a roller
I don't think I've ever
coaster.
felt lonely in a marriage.
I mean, yeah.
No.
Oh, it's great to
I
know.
had a non-listener to me in my marriage, but I don't ever think that like it wasn't like you were rejecting me or like you
Yeah.
pursued me in other ways. I mean, there's always like ups and downs to marriage and things you're really good at and things you're really bad at. But I'm like, loneliness is a whole nother aspect of marriage.
Yeah, well, and it is amazing. Couples can literally be sitting next to each other and feel really lonely and all alone in the marriage. And again, I think that breaks down when couples stop communicating or paying compliments or feeling like their spouse even cares about them, right? That other things are so much a priority over that.
Yeah, your spouse shouldn't have to feel like that. If you want a passionate marriage, that is the first thing to go. Like your
Yep.
spouse should not feel lonely. And if you do feel lonely, it's time to have a talk about it.
And say, what can we do?
What can
Yeah,
we do to like bring that back, right?
sure.
Okay. Oh, next one. Lack of effort feels like a lack of love. You want to expand on that since you've had time to think
lack
about this?
lack of effort feels like a lack of love. Yeah, I think when you kind of give up in the marriage and you aren't putting forth any effort, it absolutely is going to tell your spouse that you probably don't love them or don't care about them. I think marriage is very hard, and I think it's supposed to be hard. Anything we do in life that takes a lot of effort typically has a bigger reward, right? We're typically happier as well too. And so marriage, I think, is meant to be hard, but as we serve each other and do things for each other, put forth that effort, we're going to get a lot more joy out of our relationship. It
Agreed.
is when we get stagnant and we kind of just like, I can't tell you how many people message us and say, why do I need to, we do a podcast on dating or something. They'll say, why do I need to date my spouse? I'm married to him. We're like, well, don't you want to like pursue him and, keep
You want to
them
have
in
fun?
love and have fun together. And their attitude's just like, oh, I got married. Now I don't even need to try to do anything, which is really sad. And eventually that relationship's probably going to fall apart. And the spouse that's not feeling, desired or wanted is probably going to say, forget this. I'm going elsewhere. I'm going to go
I think
find.
someone that sum that one up is love is an action word. So when action stops happening in marriage, you're not going to feel loved. It's just kind of common sense.
Was perfect.
I don't
Yeah.
think I
And
need
we
to
do
say
talk
much
about
about
that
that.
often.
The next one is you're not always right, act like it.
I think this is such a big problem for so many couples. Our ego, our pride gets in the way, and it becomes more about being right rather than just being like, okay, maybe I am wrong. Like, who really
Is the
cares?
wife ever
I
really
want.
wrong though? I'm just kidding.
That's true. That's true. We should talk about
I mean,
that.
that's like the big thing
Even
is that the women are never wrong, right?
even when you're wrong, you're right, dear. That is,
I'm joking.
I think
You're
men
wrong sometimes.
I think men struggle with this too. But again, like you have to decide, right? Is being right more important than connection with your spouse? You know, sometimes I'll be
Mhm.
honest, like I'm going to say this, I don't know if I've ever told this to Amy, but um, sometimes I've even just said, "Yeah, you're right, honey. I am wrong," even if I knew I was right,
He wasn't right.
just because, just because the
Well, what
peace.
was it?
I don't remember. I
What's your
mean,
favorite
it's
thing?
yeah, I don't remember what that was. But yeah, even
Even the dishwasher thing with the forks. I still won.
oh, we settled that. That was a 50-50. That was
No,
like
that was
a
like a
draw.
60-40. I think I got you on that one. We asked the audience, so
See, this would be a good time to implement what we say, even when you're right. It's more important to connect.
you're never wrong.
Babe, you are,
You need to tell your husband that you're wrong.
babe, you are
That's
right.
what he wants to hear.
I am totally wrong. Uh,
Okay, that's funny. Fix your tone. It kills more than your words. Okay, I have an example for this
for
one.
this one,
Yes, last night we were driving in our car, and three of our three daughters, who are all teenagers, were having a little like
woo, man.
emotional, hormonal little fight in the back seat, and I was like, I'm gonna strangle someone, right? Not really. Okay, don't take me personally. I love my kids. And my daughter said something really harsh, like kind of rude in a very I mean it was the whole fight was because of the tone of voice and the talking, right? It was tone of voice. She said something really harsh, and my husband, Nick.
Do you have another one? I'm not aware of. Hold on, hold on. Let's
People
talk
that
about
won't
this.
watching. My husband right here, sitting next to me, Nick.
My other husband.
He looked back at her and he's like, I would never, ever. I mean, my daughter was speaking to him when she said it. And he's like, I would never, ever talk to your mom in that tone of voice. There are so many other ways to say what you just said in a kinder, more respectful manner. And it was true. Like what she said could have been said in a totally different tone and we wouldn't have been so offended by it. But the
Well,
way she said it, I don't want to say what she said, but the way it wasn't horrible, but the way that she said it, we were like, are you kidding me right now? Like that was kind of rude and disrespectful. And he's like, I would never say that to your mom.
in
And
that
I
tone,
hope
yeah.
that you change your tone and learn how to change your tone because when you get married, that is not okay. And I thought that was a great learning moment for everybody in the entire car because everyone was like getting, I mean, you know, when your kids like start fighting and then you're like having a great day and then all of a sudden you turn ornery because you're so sick of
Yeah,
it.
it causes conflict between
Oh,
you
doesn't
as a couple.
probably
Not
not.
necessarily
Probably
like
not.
not necessarily like where you start arguing, but you can just feel the tension in the car and
Just everybody's just starting to get bugged, right? And that was our whole situation. And that just kind of like put her in her place for a minute, for a few minutes,
for 10
30
seconds and
seconds.
then it went back to normal.
Anyways, it was just a learning moment, but I really thought about that and vice versa. And we had that discussion in our car after that. It was a learning moment for everyone. Like it is not okay to say things in a certain tone. It makes it rude, it makes it disrespectful, and I think this one is key in marriage. Like you can say, I would love it if you would please stop doing that. Instead of freaking stop doing that. You're so annoying. Something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
See the difference? So, anyways, I think that one's important.
That was a great example you shared because yeah, that car was lit up.
Oh
I
my
mean, it
gosh.
was
I'm like,
we
it's
were
like the day after the 4th of July, and it is like fireworks in here.
yeah, I agree.
Bad kind. Anyway,
Amy and I are looking at each other, we're like, oh, who raised these kids? Yeah.
they're usually amazing, but like every once in a while, I mean, 4 women, hormonal. Wow. Okay. If you're bored, you're not trying. I don't know if I always agree with that one. I think it depends on the kind of bored we're talking about. If you're really bored in your marriage where you're just like, my marriage is so boring all the time, that's one thing. If you're
Well,
like,
yeah.
it's okay to be bored sometimes. So I just don't want people to take that to the extreme that if they're bored that something's wrong with their marriage because we have lots of boring moments in our marriage and our marriage is great. Like that's okay.
I've never had a boring moment in my
Yes,
life.
you have. Everyone has been more bored.
Well, I think this can apply to everything, including intimacy. I think for the most part, yeah. Well, Amy came to me. That's how the bedroom game and the ultimate intimacy started. Is she came to me. She says, "I'm bored."
I literally thought I was bored. I was just broken in other areas, but long story.
Well, she used the word bored. She said, "I'm bored,"
But I was
and
bored in other areas.
she's like, "Yeah, we need to light things up, spice things up a little bit." But in all seriousness, even though that was serious, yeah, being bored in marriage, I do. Well, what typically happens when you're bored, right? Think of just like even a daily situation or a time where you're both just like bored and you're like,
I think when I picture couples being bored, I think I'm like in the evening time when maybe the kids are busy doing something and they're both sitting and scrolling their phone.
but what are
They're
they
bored.
what are they doing, right? They're
Nothing important.
nothing important.
Nothing
They're not
important.
connecting. And so when marriage in general becomes boring, that's probably because couples are going and focusing on their own things instead of the relationship.
Right.
They're probably not engaging in meaningful conversations. They're probably both sitting in different rooms, doing whatever. And I think that's really what happens, when couples get bored in the relationship, they get bored with their intimacy. Of course, you're gonna get to a point where you kind of just stop trying because you're like, this is so boring.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we've talked about this a lot in the past, but when you're dating each other, you're spontaneous, you're doing exciting things, you're always looking for fun things to do together to connect. You're the romance and everything's exciting. And obviously, for a lot of couples, that can die down over time. And the first thing they do, when we ask couples all the time that are saying, "Oh, we're in a boring marriage or things are off," the first thing we do is we're like, "Do you have a regular date night?" And they're like, "Oh, no, we haven't dated in 6 months." So I
Mhm.
think when things get boring in your relationship, do just like what you would do when you were dating. Start doing fun things together. Be spontaneous. Connect romantically. I mean, just go back to the basics, right? Put forth some effort. I mean, it doesn't take much effort to really change your marriage.
Agreed. Agreed. Next one is closeness dies when conversations do.
I think that's a really good one.
Back to the sitting on your couch and scrolling. You're obviously, and I'm not saying that's always bad. That's not always bad. It's fine if you
Yeah,
want to just take a
sometimes
break from
chill.
each other sometimes and scroll your phone, whatever. But when you find that your conversations are always kind of dead, like if you couldn't go on a walk for 15 minutes together and have stuff to talk about together, that's probably a pretty big sign.
Yeah,
I mean,
or
we go on a walk almost every single night for 10 to 20 minutes, every single night, and we always have conversations about you name what. We can keep the conversation going. We know how to ask each other questions. We know it's not always about our kids or business or the day. Sometimes they're deeper conversations about deeper things, and that's a good place to be.
what I was going to say or add to that, that if you're having the same conversations all the time, then that's obviously not a good thing as well, too. We've had so many people write into us. I remember this guy wrote into us and he's like, "Oh my heck, we were driving somewhere for like 3 hours. We used your conversation starters." Like he's like, we were laughing and
Mhm.
crying and just having the time of our lives. And he says, "I know the app has a bunch of stuff, but for us, the conversation starters have been the biggest game changer." And I think, when you strike up those good conversations and start talking
Mhm.
about things and your fears and your likes and what you want to do and all these things, like you naturally are going to grow closer to each other. And
Mhm.
so I think that one's really important.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I
Go
think
grab the app and use conversation starters. Like that's such a fun, let's just stay home tonight and cuddle in bed kind of date night where you're talking. Like if you're spending quality time together, I consider it a date.
yeah.
So if you're broke, if you can't leave the kids, whatever, like you can have date night every single night in your marriage if you really wanted to. Go sit on the porch, pull out the conversation starters, go on a walk, pull out the conversation starters. Like there's lots of different ways to have conversations,
You
and you
can't
can't ever run out of being able to talk to each
you
other.
can't be cold to each other throughout the whole day and then expect things to heat up at the nighttime.
Is that the next one? Or
What?
are you just adding to the
No,
conversation?
I was just adding to the conversations. Like you can't, like if you're not communicating, you're just off doing your own thing, or maybe you're totally disengaged, you can't be surprised then why things won't heat up later that night.
Oh,
I mean, like,
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
Yeah. Common sense. Yes, you can win the fight or save the relationship. Choose one. Well, we always talk about this one, and we'll keep this one short because we have tons of episodes on this entire topic. But yeah, you either win as a team or you don't win in marriage. Because if one of you wins the argument and the other one loses, you didn't actually win in
Yeah,
your
someone,
marriage. And I think a lot of people don't understand that.
yeah, someone's always going to win and someone's always going to lose when you're looking at things
Yeah,
that way. I
but
mean,
a team in sports doesn't win like some of the players and the other players lose. They all win together. So same with marriage. Like it's a team sport. I mean,
you
it's just
said that beautifully,
oh,
babe.
good. Oh, good. Silent treatments destroy trust faster than yelling does. Ooh, I don't know about that one.
Oh, I
I
totally.
think yelling can destroy just as bad.
Well, it depends on like, I mean, obviously
I think they're
there's
equal.
extremes.
I think they're equal.
I would I would say silent treatment absolutely,
I would rather you give me silent treatment than yell at me.
and I would rather you yell at me than give me silent treatment.
Okay.
So,
Well, that one might look personal to your marriage, but I
yeah.
think both of them are destructive, and that's the point.
Well, I think there's a difference between yelling and getting upset and then being like yelling and like putting your spouse down, saying you're such a,
Name
like
calling,
yeah.
rude, like screaming
It's one
back.
thing to be yelling and getting mad about something. I don't know what that looks like. Amy's like, "Oh, I wish you'd just yell once in a while." I'm like, "That's just not my personality." She's like, "I would love to see you yell. Just do it."
Just some kind of emotion.
And then she'll start poking me, like trying to get me to
He
yell.
doesn't cry, he doesn't yell, he's just like this
I don't know
all
if
the
that, I
time.
don't know if that's good,
All the
but
time. Just
um,
smooth sailing.
yeah, I don't know if that's good. There should be some rough,
I can
wavy waters.
There's a couple people, I won't say names, they might be listening. There's a couple people that I can tell kind of ruffle your feathers sometimes, but I don't feel like your emotions like
Not all over
I
the
can tell you're
place.
frustrated with them, but you're never like grumpy, ornery, yell like mad, like most normal people. But that's pretty great to be able to regulate your emotions like that.
Yeah, and maybe this is more of a personal thing. I know for
Mhm.
me, like I have a hard time when I know Amy's mad at me. I want to talk about things and get things resolved. She's like, "Give me some space, man. Like just give me some time." I'm like, "No, let's resolve this now. Let's talk about I want to talk to you." So
Oh, funny, I'm like that.
I think every
We're
couple's
good.
different, but I think that's something important to talk about and maybe understand with your spouse is like, if Amy understands that, silent treatment, I
Mhm.
that doesn't affect me. Maybe if she's mad, she'll do that even more. But maybe she'll be like, yeah, I know that, he doesn't
We
appreciate that.
do toxic things in our marriage anymore. Like we've had enough of that at the beginning of our, not the very
Oh, we had
beginning, but
enough
like
early
those
on too.
rough years that I look back and I'm like, that was kind of not even just disrespectful, but we were kind of immature. And I think with maturity and with the goals of having a good marriage, I feel like you just get better at these things because you're trying harder,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the next one is sex means nothing without connection. And we always talk about this. I don't think we need to dive into this one, but I always say, like on social media, like sex should always be intimate. It should never just be sex in marriage. And even if you're having a quickie or it just feels kind of physical, I still feel like the emotional connection and the marriage relationship should still be kind, respectful, loving, and loyal. Like those four things to me are mandatory. And so even if it's a quickie or it's not as connecting as sometimes, it's going to be different levels all the time, right? I still feel like it should be loving, uniting, and intimate. Even if it's one of those physical things. You know what I'm do you understand what I'm saying? Did I make sense of that?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
still like you're gonna have like intimate times that are super intimate, super emotional, super connecting, and then you're gonna have times where it's just not like that, not that deep, right? And they're all okay, but I think it should always be sexual intimacy, not just sex in marriage. I think it should always feel
I think
intimate.
okay, and I would say I think the key here is, and I know it's not always like this, but even for the low desire women, like just at least pretend that you're enjoying it. I think to me that's a huge key, right?
I don't
Like,
think you should ever have to pretend anything in marriage because if you have to pretend, then something's off.
okay, but
Okay, so explain yourself before you get hate mail.
well, or try to. Okay, maybe that's the better word. Let me go back.
If you have to,
Edit
but
that
don't
other
we
part.
agree? Like, if you have to pretend something, then something's off because you shouldn't have to pretend in your
Okay,
relationship.
let's say try. That's probably a better word. Like try to enjoy it. Like no guy wants to be like, all right, just get it over with. Like that's not sexual intimacy,
Well,
right?
that's what I'm saying. It should
Yeah.
always be intimate.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a reason it's not intimate or you have to fake anything, then your relationship is not close enough where you can talk about and fix the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the point I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. Like, you should never have to pretend or fake. I did a social media post one time that said, fake it women, sometimes you have to fake it. And I didn't mean it like that, like what you're thinking. I meant like sometimes you have to fake that you're in the mood and kind of trick your brain into being like, I'm willing to get in the mood. I'm not in the mood now, but I'm
Yeah.
willing to get into the mood. And I think the same goes with like intimacy. Like sometimes we have to change our attitude, but that doesn't mean like pretending or faking. Like we need to, if it's something really in the relationship that's making you feel like it's not sexual intimacy, it's just sex, just plain out sex, then there's some kind of disconnect going on, and you've got to figure out how to fix it because nobody, I don't think any married person wants just sex. Even the
Yeah.
men are like, I want it
No.
to be intimate. I want her to want me. I want her to enjoy it. Like most loving, good, we're talking good, loving husbands want their wife to want it to be intimate. And that takes work and effort before.
I was, yeah, I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. If you saw the amount of messages that Amy and I got on our email, social media, the different avenues talking about what we're talking about, where a guy's, the husband's like, yeah, my wife, you know, just wants to get it done with, and exactly what we're talking about. You would probably say Amy and I need to go talk to a therapist just to keep our heads straight because we get so many messages like this.
That
It
is
is
true.
overwhelming, and obviously that's why our goal is to talk about everything that we're talking about. We're not sitting here saying we're perfect at everything,
No.
but we have found better ways, and no one's marriage is perfect. I think what we're all striving for is to have good marriages, and knowing that, like, if we do fall back or we do have certain things come up or whatever, that we know how to resolve them. We have the tools that are necessary to get
Mhm.
through those rough patches and be able to work together, because a lot of couples, 50% or so, can't do those things, right? And so that's why we're on here sharing our experiences, things that we've learned. Um, Again, we're not sitting here saying that, oh, we got the perfect marriage. We have a great marriage, but we still work on a lot of these things that we're talking about. I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
and I think we're getting better, and we'll continue to get better because we do care about our marriage and we do want it to continue to get better. And there are things that work and things that can make it a lot better.
Good. Last one is marriage isn't 50-50. It's 100 or nothing. Yeah.
That's all. That's woman of little words.
It's never going to be equal, but it needs to feel fair. That's the one I like. I don't think it's always going to be 100-100. I don't think it needs to be 100-100. I think some days it's 80-20, some days it's 70-30. Sometimes I put in 20, he puts in 80. Sometimes he puts in 99 and I put in 1, and sometimes I put in
Let's share it. Let's
51 and
share
he
it.
puts in 49.
Oh, that's pretty well balanced.
No, you know what I mean? Or I put in 10 and he puts in 90. Like it's
That's
just
never happens.
depending on like what the day looks like, the circumstance you're going through, someone I mean it's always gonna look different. I don't think it's ever gonna be like we're both pouring all the
When
energy that we have into our marriage. But I think when you can find a balance where, hey, I need you to step it up today and I need to step it up tomorrow, and it's gonna look like that in different things and different circumstances and different stages of life. And I just marriage I love the quote. I don't even know who the original owner of this quote is, but marriage will never be equal, but it always has to feel fair. And I do believe that. If it's not feeling fair, like the effort on both sides, I feel like it starts causing resentment.
if you're scorekeeping in your marriage, and this is coming from two people that used to scorekeep.
Just me.
Well, I wasn't. I was. We are one, babe. We are one, and so that means both of
Women are
us.
much better at scorekeeping when they do
I'm telling you,
everything.
like
Feel like they
it
would.
will wreck you. If you're a scorekeeper, your marriage is going to get wrecked. And I agree with what you said, that it has to feel fair, but fair is gonna. What does fair look
Mhm.
like? It's going to be different every time, right? Like,
Fair is going to be, it means you are talking to each other and you're communicating about this. And you're like, I feel like I'm doing everything around the house. I need you to step up in this way. And the husband's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that you felt like that. Like, I would be happy to do that. Or where do you feel like we struggle? Where's this balance off? Or if a husband's like, I take care of this, and this, and all you have to do is take care of, like, these conversations are what make marriage fair. Like you're always going to feel like I do more or he does more or it's off. Like that's okay,
I don't
but it
know.
needs to be talked about so that you can get back on track.
And I don't know that you're always going to feel like that. I think there's a lot of marriages out there where people are just trying to serve each other. And
Hmm.
I think that's the key, right? Like you'll find the greatest enjoyment in life when you're truly serving each other. Like if
Hmm.
I'm serving my wife and I'm getting nothing in return, obviously I'm not
Well,
gonna be
you still
happy.
keep score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're both truly trying to serve each other, you're not even going to start thinking about keeping score. When you keep score, you're going to get resentment, you're going to get
Hmm.
bitter, you're going to feel like, "Oh my heck, I'm doing everything." You're going to spend more time focusing on what he or she did or didn't do
Hmm.
and just it's going to absolutely destroy you. So I would say throw that away. You need to look at it and say, how do we work together as one? And what does that look like? Like, what are the
Hmm.
things you're doing and contributing? What are the things you're doing and contributing? And then serving each other. Like, when you serve each other, that truly is going to take away that resentment and that scorekeeping and
Absolutely.
probably make life a lot better. Again, this is coming from a couple that used to scorekeep, and um, I assume we no longer do. No, I'm joking. We don't. We don't. I'm joking.
I think that takes teaching your spouse what it is that you do on a daily basis, what your mental load looks like on a daily basis, what it takes to run parenting and home and family. If your husband or wife or vice versa doesn't, you know what I mean? Like it's not the 1950s anymore where husbands just work all day and come home, put their feet up, and the wife is cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids. Like there's a lot of working women nowadays.
Yeah.
There's a lot of phone usage where, I mean, we hear from a lot of women that he just puts up his feet and then swipes his phone all night while she's still going nonstop after she's worked a shift. Like, this all starts happening when you start having a bad attitude and being like, I do more than him. This marriage sucks. Like, if you, like you said, if you have gratitude and you have humility and you're like, hey, I really want a great marriage. It's just not feeling super fair in our marriage. Can we talk about how to kind of like fix this? And instead of getting offended and be like, I do a ton. What are
Yeah.
you talking about? And having a bad attitude, being like, hey, let's have this conversation. Be respectful to each other and be like, okay, this is what my mental load looks like. This is what your mental load. This is what my day looks like. This is how stressed I am. This is the stuff I still have to think about after 5 o'clock p.m. And get on that same page and be like, hey, let's unify. I want a great sex life. I want passion in my marriage. I want respect in this marriage. I want appreciation in this marriage. And then just start having that weekly marriage meeting that we always talk about, where you sit down one night and be like, this is what the schedule looks like. This is what needs to get done. Can you take dinner this night? I'll take dinner this night. Can you go grocery shopping this day? Hey, Saturdays. Saturdays, Nick will make a list now for, I mean, it used to be all on my shoulders, but now he's like, hey, kids, here's your list. Here's the 5 chores that you have to do. We're all taking care of the house today. I'm taking care of the yard. Mom's taking care of this. You're taking care of this. You're taking care of this. It's not all the mom's duty. Like when he started stepping up in that way, it was like, oh,
Well, you
hallelujah.
just hit the key, which is communication. If you're
Yep.
not talking about it, that's where assumptions come in and are like, why are they not doing this?
Yep.
But as Amy and I have been a lot more open about communication and talking about things, like she said, it's really easy to say, hey, what do we have going? I mean, in fact, we just talked about this earlier. What do you have going on Thursday? Here's what I would like to do, and how do
Hmm.
we make this happen?
Hmm.
And yeah, um, and just again, hey babe, I'll take care of dinner tonight. Can you
Hmm.
do this?
Yep.
And vice versa. It just makes things so much easier. And again, just like we always talk about, when you can take away some of these things that just feel monumental and huge, you're gonna have such a better marriage. I mean, it's gonna get so
These
much better.
are the golden rules because if you want passion, you're going to be respectful to each other. You're going to communicate about these things with each other. If you're bored, you're going to go date each other and be like, hey, let's get outside and go do something fun. That's what you're going to say to your spouse if you're feeling bored and disconnected, right? Like just those 10 simple things we talked about, they're not hard things. They just take a little bit of effort and a little bit of communication. So, anyways, I think
Yeah,
they are golden rules. I think they're
I do.
key.
I think if you follow these 11 things,
Or
I
11.
mean, have a much better marriage. Everything else would just fall into place. So I guess we only needed really have one podcast episode and just talk about this, and all the other ones don't really matter. Anyways, we hope you enjoy the podcast. As always, if you want some great products, check out shop.ultimateintimacy.com. That's shop.ultimateintimacy.com. We know the owners very well. It's a great company, great products. They really can help you connect better, both intimately, both in and out of the bedroom. And that's why we've created them. Let us know if you have any questions. You can reach out to us, Amy at ultimateintimacy.com.
Hold on, I just want to add something to that. Every single product was handpicked by us, hand designed by us, graphically, package wise, like, shipped out. Like, we ship them, we take care of the customer service. Like, we want you guys to be happy with every single product. We stand by them.
Tested and used by us, not the products that we sell you for, but that, yeah, tested and used.
We only sell
Yeah.
stuff that has benefited our lives and so many others' lives. We have friends that come to us and people that we know that are just like, thank you for selling these things that's benefited our marriage. I just want you to know, like, thank you for
Your
supporting
support,
our
yeah.
shop.ultimateintimacy.com. If there's something that we don't have and you would love to give us some feedback, be like, hey, it'd be really great if you could add this to your store, give us an email.
Yeah.
Holidays
We
are
love
coming up.
hearing from you. I've been answering several emails this morning from people, and we truly do love hearing from you, and we do answer all of your emails personally. So typically coming from me, but if you have something you want to hear from Amy, just ask for Amy specifically, and she'll get back to you. But thank you again for listening to the podcast. Until next time, we hope all of you find ultimate intimacy in your relationship.